In the sea of modern plugins, it is hard to separate the grain from the chaff. With so many recent plugins sounding great already, the game-changing factors, in my opinion, have shifted. To me, these boil down to the following. Firstly, new plugins must sound stunning, if not better. They have to lack artifacts. They have to be easy to use, and they have to be well optimized. We use a lot of plugins that unfortunately haven't been optimized perfectly. They like to crash, and they make the revision process and bouncing revisions very difficult and put unnecessary pressure on us as professionals in the field. You may also be on a quest to find the most cutting-edge, modern-sounding plugin collection that give the sound of 2022, if not 2023. And to me, this means that they have to be developed with a great knowledge of mathematics, as the design of the plugins is everything these days. So, today I want to examine whether the hype for make-believe audio plugins is real. Disclaimer, I'm not affiliated with the guys at all, but I have been in touch with one of the developers and they recommended me to download the demo, and I tried it briefly, and let's see what kind of impressions we get here together. I'm Dr. Mark Shubetskov, and I'm here to bring valuable information on metal music production. Like and subscribe to never miss out new content. Let's go! I first heard about make-believe audio from my friend Phil Plascotto on Facebook, shout out Phil. And everyone was basically raving about those plugins, how good they sound and how simple and minimalistic they are. Once I talked with one of the developers, it became apparent that these guys implement a somewhat unorthodox, non-traditional way to develop plugins. They adhere to minimalistic approaches, and also one of the developers has a background in particle physics, which is very appealing to me as I have background in physics and biophysics as well. Some of you know. Anyways, let's quickly browse through the website and see what's on offer and what we're going to be checking today. So here's the bundle that is on offer, alongside with the infamous Sontec EQ, which has been endorsed by the developer of the EQ himself. The bundle consists of an EQ, a limiter, a good muff, which we'll get to, and then few parallel processes and an IR plugin. Let's just stop talking and try them out. So I'm here in Reaper with a project which is free multitrack, which I downloaded from a website called tight/sound.site. I'll link it in the description, tight/sound.site. I'll just play the track for you a little bit so that you understand what we're dealing with. It's a Wage War cover. Right? And so let's just get started, and let's try this Sontec first on the mix bus, right? So we'll get the Sontec. Looks cool. I really like that it is quite minimalistic. Also, I know that this plugin is CPU efficient as hell. It pretty much doesn't consume any of the CPU of the modern computer, which is a huge, huge bonus. Yeah, I don't even know what to say. I just randomly moved a few knobs out at the top end at 12K, and it it sounds like it belongs to the mix, and it just doesn't work without it anymore. It's crazy. It's crazy how transparent it is and how not harsh it sounds, and it's crazy how fast it works as well. Let's add some low end. I need this one immediately. I don't know what to say. It's just incredibly simple to use, fast, and it sounds out of this world amazing. I want to compare it with Acustica Audio Ivory. I'm ignorant enough to not know whether it's the same EQ or similar EQ, but they kind of look similar, right? So it's probably a fair comparison. Okay, this should be somewhat similar. Acustica sounds brittle compared to it. If you guys know how much resource this one takes up, the choice would be pretty obvious. Alright, I don't want to dwell too long on a single plugin because we got a fair few others to check. Let's check a limiter, right? Slap a limiter on the mix bus. Before... Goodbye, L1. Virtually no CPU is used. It's an instant goodizer, especially for modern metal where you want things to sound limited. It's not the most transparent one, as the manual says, but at the same time, it sounds quite transparent to me, and it just pushes things nicely. You don't want to... I don't know what to say. Let's try it on the kick, maybe. Kick and snare. That's your immediate, instant modern sound without a single tweak to be implemented. You just have it, and it pushes everything so nicely. I wish it wasn't as good, man. Okay, there's another one. It's called Good Math. Let's try it on the drum bus. Okay, it's clicking a bit. I mean, good math is good math. And I know how much it takes to come up with the equations that describe sonic transformations properly, without artifacts, and being properly constructed. These work as a clockwork mechanism, but this one, they say it's a clipper, it's a pusher, it gives modern sound, right? It sounds as modern as it gets. I'm quite speechless because it's just amazing. The only complaint is that there is no output fader, but I guess we can live with that. Frankly, I just need it. If you want modern sound, that's how you get it. You move these three faders, and you can move them together, and you get it. End of line. I kind of need to recover a bit because there's no alternative that would sound like this. I use FabFilter all the time. FabFilter is great, nice and transparent, but FabFilter was developed probably 7 years ago. And these plugins, Make Believe Studio, were developed 2022. And it definitely shows. And I'm even more speechless about how the quality of the plugin compares to the lack of CPU usage. They virtually take up no CPU resources, and they just sound out of this world amazing. You could probably mix a record just using this, and maybe a compressor. I don't know what to say. Let's quickly have a look at the remaining plugins. There are some parallel processors, which are again vaguely described as something that you just insert on a certain bus and blend to taste. So this one says parallel process number 1, insert on snare and blend to taste. Let's do it. Even though I inserted it onto the shells bus, whatever. Have you ever had a problem where your snare lacks that bottom end, and no matter how much EQ you add, it still lacks it? And then you come to saturators, then you come to R-bass or stuff like that. That's your solution. Easy. Just a slider, and it gives that sound. Another parallel processor, insert on kick or snare drum, blend to taste. Let's try. This one pushes the top end more. It's like an inflator on steroids. I use old school inflator. I find inflator quite amazing. But this one is better, and it's just a single slider, and I don't need to spend time, and it doesn't take CPU. Man, just... The other parallel processor is something that we could apply on guitars. Let's try that. Insert on mid-range tracks such as guitar, synth, strings, piano. Let's see. Oh. All right, I gotta kind of pack my brains back into my head now. Should I continue? Do you guys hear the same thing that I'm hearing right now? Or am I nuts today? All right, you know what? I think I'm gonna stop here. Otherwise, I'm just gonna instantly buy them. And I like to kind of weight my decisions on plugins and think about these as investments. But thing is, this bundle in particular contains everything that I may have been lacking and have been gathering as pieces, like say a good clipper. And before this bundle, before Make Believe Studios, right, all the clippers were kind of okay. I was using FabFilter Pro L2 as a clipper, and I was using some freeware clippers, and they all sounded fine. FabFilter sounded a bit better, but a bit more transparent. But this one just out of the box sounds right, and it gives that modern feel which I was lacking. Sontec EQ, well, I've not had analog emulation that would provide pristine frequency response, great control, and lack of CPU overload. I've just not experienced that in my career at all. And this one immediately gives that. Other parallel processors, the limiter, it's just, they're invaluable. They're great tools. They're not just your gimmicky, fun plugins. They are fast to use. They're CPU effective, and they're workflow effective as well. And I've not even covered them all. There is a EQ similar to FabFilter EQ, which I haven't tried, and I'm sure it would take a bit more time on my end, but apparently it generates a response of analog EQ and combines it with a digital precision. I'm just going to wrap up here, and my impressions are, yes, Make Believe Studios hype is real, and I would wholeheartedly recommend these plugins to anyone who is looking to expand their toolset into the modern niche. Again, I'm not affiliated with these plugins, and I don't even own them. I only ran a demo. But I think I would own them eventually, because if we want the modern sound, if we want to work on the records that push the envelope, we got to approach them accordingly. And these tools would give the fastest and the most effective way forward. Cheers, hope you enjoyed.